All right, so today we're going to be working on our iReady packet, page 120 through 121. I'm going to share my screen. Make sure you're looking at your packet as well. All right. So it says identify positive and negative numbers. So talk through these problems and then write your answer below. So what number is the opposite of 5? Well, when they give you double words like that, we need to think about what that means. So let's start with the number, okay? So we have 5. 5 is positive. So we want the opposite of 5. So if we had 5, then the opposite, of course, is negative 5, right? Because that's the other way on the number line. But then it says of the opposite. So that means the opposite of the opposite. So if this is the opposite, so the opposite of negative 5 goes back to positive 5. So the opposite of the opposite actually goes back to our original number, okay? So what can you say about the opposite of the number? So the opposite of the opposite goes back to the original number. Okay? Positive and negative numbers can show an amount above or below 0. They can also be used to show an amount above or below a certain point. Students at Taft Middle School have a goal of collecting 1,000 pounds of recycling materials each month. The following table shows their results over a 6-month time period. Complete the table. The first month is done for you. Okay, so they're comparing what was actually collected to their goal of 1,000. So because 985 is less than 1,000, that's why it's negative. And they got the 15 because they took 1,000 and subtracted 985. So they had to borrow, and that's where they got the 15. So because it's less than 1,000, it's negative 15. Let's look at February, 1,010. Well, compared to 1,000, that's greater, so we know it's going to be positive. And then because it's bigger, it goes on top, and we're going to subtract our 1,000. And so there is a difference of 10. Okay, 995, that is less than 1,000, so it's going to be negative. And if you take your 1,000 and subtract your 995, again, we borrow, and we get that there is a difference of negative 5. Okay, 1,050 is greater than 1,000. And so we find that answer by subtracting and finding there's a difference of 50. 975, that's less than 1,000. And again, we subtract. And so we get a difference of negative 25. And 980 is also less than 1,000. And again, if we subtract, oops, I didn't need to borrow that one. Oh, yes, I did, but I didn't need to borrow. It's just 10. All right, so 20, negative 20. Okay. So look at the number line below. The letters A, B, C, and D all represent integers. Which letter represents a negative integer? Okay, well, if here's 0, remember to our right are the positives, and to our left are the negatives. So that means C and A are negatives, okay? So because it says which letters, that means we can have more than one answer. So A and C are both negative numbers. Okay, how do you know? Well, because they are to the left of 0. That's how we know they're negative, because they're to the left. Okay. Then it says which letters represent the positive integers. Well, again, we look at our number line. So that means B and D are positive because they are to the right of 0. That's how we know they're positive. If B and C are the same distance from 0, how can you describe them? Okay, so if they're the same distance, then remember we're talking about our opposites, right? So B and C would be opposites if they are the same distance from 0. Okay, one's positive, one's negative, but if they're the same distance, that means that they are opposites. Okay, let's turn the page. All right, use what you've learned to complete this task. Write a problem about a real-life situation involving temperature or money. The situation should include a number and its opposite that results in an answer of 0. Write your problem. So we can do anything. We can talk about temperature because temperature is either positive or negative, right? Super hot or super cold, okay? Or positive and negative money. You have money and then you have to give money away. Money is probably the easiest one to deal with because we deal with money all the time. So let's write a problem, okay? So I have $3 in my pocket. And I buy a bag of chips that cost $3. Okay, so you have $3, so there's your positive, but then you're buying chips for $3, so that's a negative. And so when it says to graph it on your number line, right, you have positive $3 and you have negative $3. So we have our opposites. And the reason that that answer gives you an answer of 0, because think about it, if I have 3 and I take 3 away, you have nothing left, right? So if you are adding opposites, you end up with 0 left over. Okay, we call these zero pairs. Okay, we call those 0 pairs. So if I have one positive and one negative, then they cancel out and become 0. So in the case of this problem, if I have 3 positives and 3 negatives, Cancel out, becomes 0. Cancel out, becomes 0. Cancel out, becomes 0. Okay, 0 pairs. 1 positive with 1 negative. Okay. So what can you say about the sum of a number and its opposite? So the sum of a number and its opposite will always give you 0. So 3 plus a negative 3 equals 0. 5 plus a negative 5 gives you 0. 100 plus a negative 100 gives you 0. Okay, so no matter what it is, positive infinity plus negative infinity gives you 0. So it will always give you 0 because of that 0 pair rule. Okay, I'm going to post a little quiz after you watch this, and have a good day.